Dum 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 dum. All right. Am I sharing my screen correctly? Yes. No fresh ideas today, apparently. We are just doing it as intended. So where I left off is that we have a desirable architecture of componentry. We have a button and a card. Maybe we'll add a third component because I think, there's like probably a magic number of components that we could add to this thing that will make it feel good, like a demo of like, oh, I see how web components could work for me. And maybe 2 is too few, but I'm not sure. It's already like not going to happen as a free user template on CodePen because there's just too many files to make it interesting. Notably, we didn't use lit element. We didn't really need it, but I want to do some things. Maybe we'll make a list of things that I want to do. README. I don't think we need Markdown because I don't care to preview it. I'll put it at the root though. And I'll say like goals for today. Do I need to be bigger so you can see it? I want to like add some props. Is that what you call them even when we're not in React? I feel like props it's not totally a React term, but it feels like it kind of is. What I mean by that is when we call one of these design component thingies, can we give it stuff? Like a card, what if it took a title instead of things being slotted? What do you call that in web components land? I mean, it's just an attribute, but do you call it a prop because it's like handled differently or something? I'll just put props in quotes to a component or two. That's what I want to do and just see what it's like. I don't know, maybe with and without lit. I want to have design not look stupid. And maybe that's it for today. We'll see. I was like browsing around some old componentry I did. And apparently at one point, in like 5 years ago, I made this really nice little cute component. And I just was so attracted to looking at it. I was like, oh, it's got such a nice little shadow and the green on green looks good. And is that even a gradient in the background? It almost looks like it's glowing a little bit, but it might just be a trick of the eye because of the shadow or something. But I thought that was nice enough. Montserrat headers and some kind of monospace in here. Even that looks like a subtle brown color. Again, might be a trick of the eye, but I'm like, maybe that should be our card. Surely this pen didn't do anything useful. And then maybe we can deal with SVG usage too, like SVG usage question marks. Like, how would we handle that? How do we want to handle an icon like that in a card in a web component? What are the options? What would we do? What's practical to do? Not sure. So maybe this Lonely Island button can go away. That was there to demonstrate that, look at this button usage is styled because it's a DS button, but the styles in the button, even though it's just button, does not affect all buttons. This CSS file is only loaded into this web component because of CSS module scripts, which really limits the support of this thing. But I guess it's not that I don't care. It's just that the point of this demo was to play with that, like this line specifically. So not terribly worried about it, but we should put maybe that's 4, or maybe that becomes number 1 is a browser support warning. So instead of these, maybe we'll make these classic like to-dos for ourselves. Yeah. All right. So how do we, I literally don't know what the right way to, like, let's just see if we can explore things to get this title attribute. So let's say the title of our card, if we're making this module, is hiking trails, and we pass in that to the card. Save. How do we get access to title? And then I bet there's a bunch of other things that you need to think about, like what happens if dynamically outside elsewhere, this changes. Don't you want the card to re-render and stuff that you'd probably get for free from Vue or Svelte or React or whatever. We might not get from free because we're not using any framework at all to do it. I don't even know what the correct way to know what is in those attributes. What is on this? Like literally this. It might be too much to log in this console. Oh, it's just the element. So this .get attribute title, is that going to say hiking trails? Yeah, so that's not bad, right? Is that what you would do? Is that the prescribed acceptable way to set a title? So if we had an inner HTML that was empty and we put... This seems janky and probably not how you're supposed to do this in web components, but I'm really just not sure. Surely in lit there's a better way, but we're not using lit yet, but I think this might be the thing that pushes us towards it immediately. We could look at fast too, but last time I looked I was a little confused by it. So we could say class equals card title, and then when it's connected, we could just say const card title. We'd have to query for it, right? Maybe it deserves to be an ID then, because if there's only one card title is document.get element by ID classic card title, and then say card title is card title dot inner text to be safe, I guess, is really the attribute that we're going to pluck off of there. Will that just work? It will, right? Maybe not. Did it find it? Oh, but we're looking at the document, not the shadow root. We have to go this dot shadow root. Will that work? Yeah, okay. Is that feel verbose and weird? Certainly what it's going to do is like from the outside, if we somehow had a reference to this DS card and changed this title, I really don't think this is going to run again. Connected callback runs once. So I'm not really sure and this is just my own ignorance. Surely there is a way to like listen for attribute changes from the parent or whatever. I have no idea, but that worked. So now we're dealing with props. I guess at that point we could look and see how lit does it, because almost surely it's going to be nice. But the other thing we could do is since we're copying this, we'll take our lorem ipsum, and that we would put maybe in here. And we learned about slots kind of from Dave yesterday. So the guts of the whole thing could just be a slot. So I think if we just said we just put slot right here, slot, and that's it. Slot with closed slot. And I think that lorem ipsum text is just going to barf in there. Dude, it absolutely did that. And then a thing that says view product, although we'll say something like learn more or something. And so we won't just have hiking trails. We'll have hello Emmett. We'll have other stuff. Oh, other outdoor activities, let's say. Why not? So cool. That's our card. We also don't need to use the button all by itself, although we did very interestingly learn that even though DS card does not import DS button, it still just works in here for whatever mysterious reason. It just felt mysterious to me because this is clearly in the shadow DOM, thus feels separated from the script in which these are imported. But some kind of magic is clearly happening, and custom elements that you call even in the shadow DOM of other elements do work in here magically somehow. I'm down with that. I don't even want to learn any more about that. It's just this feels sloppy. So maybe it's time to learn. I'm just leaning on lit because I've used it before. I haven't exactly put it on its paces, but I seem to remember like the styling thing was okay. We don't need it because we're using CSS module scripts, but there was some other, boilerplate, I guess, that made things easier. Ooh, and then it has this kind of nicety in TypeScript. I know that works because I tested it in CodePen. I don't think we want to add TypeScript to this. I don't think we want to use TypeScript because right now, even if we choose to use lit will be like a it's not a build time dependency. Sometimes time dependencies are good because they may not impart any user cost to them. Like the users don't care what build process happened, but they do complicate like the longevity of the project. Lit just runs client side. But if we add a TypeScript, like what is necessary here, we would need to would do it. But lit doesn't require TypeScript. It's just even more. They're trying to remove boilerplate, and it's even more boilerplate when you go the TypeScript route, but we don't need to. So if we extend lit element instead of extend an HTML element, what do we get? We get this styling thing that we don't need. We get properties, though, and that is interesting. So let's just do it. We're going to steal those things. And in the top of this should be a pretty easy transition, right? As the very first line of card, we'll pull lit, and we don't need CSS from it. As a reminder, we're going to get a package.json now, which has lit in it in case we need to change version or something, and that these imports will be available via import maps, which should work just fine. Now, we do have some properties. What did we call our property? The title. So where do you put that? Where does it want it? Before the constructor? I don't think that it matters. It might matter, though. Ours is a title, and it has type string. That's fine. I don't think that's going to do anything necessarily right away, but we can set this .name. Is that a default then? Probably. This is going to say hello world, not hello somebody. It's probably just a default. I wonder if you even need to do it at all. We can try skipping it. And then we get to use a template literal with the 8. This is neat. So instead of just a template literal like we're using, where we just set the inner HTML, we get to use a render function that returns an HTML tagged template literal. So this is going to go away. We'll just comment it out for now. And in addition to having a constructor, we do this. And I don't think we need to have a connected callback at all. So HTML is this thing that we've imported. This becomes this. I'll just paste it in there. I kind of like looking at the HTML all on one line like this. It's sort of rendering and then disappearing. Not sure what's up with that. We'll fix that up so we can get rid of that. I don't know if we need to do this attach shadow business anymore. I don't see it here, so maybe that's superfluous or whatever that word is. Do we need to use super in our constructor? Yes. Just seeing what boilerplate goes away. I want to use this because of this. So hopefully lit doesn't like mind us meddling with the shadow root in this way. And then our card title is going to be like, I hope that works. Do you just say title? How do they do it? They say this dot title. This dot title. Is that just going to pop in? Please pop in. That would be super neato. What are you mad about? Cannot set properties of null on what? Setting adopted style sheets, line 13. All right, well, it doesn't have a shadow root because we didn't attach it. So will lit mind that we're attaching it? It appears to mind. So maybe lit and CSS module scripts are not going to play nicely because we have to do this line and lit is not going to like it. Although we're not extending lit element. We screwed up a very simple thing here where we have to do that. Is it going to be happy now? Oh, it is. Kind of. I'm not 100% sure that it is because where's our border and stuff? Where's the styles that came with this? I don't see them. That's a little concerning. But we got this .title in here, so this mess is probably not necessary. And I wonder if, like this might be fun. In our script, I guess, we know that this script is called down here after DS card. So if we got our hands on this DS card somehow, we could just say ID equals, temporary card. I don't want to say temporary. I'm just going to say card. In this, then we could say like window.card dot how do we set an attribute? Set attribute title is now ha 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 ha. Is it going to change this title to ha ha ha? It is. So that's what we get a little bit from lit because of that. You know, I should have forked this because now I'm worried we can't use lit because we're not. This style sheet is not applying internally, as far as the best I can tell, anyway. My point was, though, that like the title's supposed to be hiking trails. But in this script, we mess with that title. And when we mess with that title, you'd think in our old way, this dot title, it wouldn't have known because we had a connected callback. Connected callback would have thought that hiking was the title. But then we messed with the title later and it re-rendered, which must be part of the magic of this render function. So that's nice that lit does that. We don't need to do this anymore, but that's proof that our attributes are kind of like live attributes, which is what we want. Now, can we possibly make this work? It would be really nice if we didn't have to abort on this. So class equals card. Is the class, like, does the class live? Class equals card in the shadow root. And theoretically, we're attaching to the shadow root our right here, sheet. Sheet is getting applied to the shadow root.adopted style sheets. But something about lit is like not doing it. So our padding is gone, our border is gone. It's just not cool with us touching our own shadow root. So maybe that's what we need to ask lit. Can you access shadow root directly using lit element? Working with shadow DOM. Accessing nodes in the shadow realm. Ooh, this dot render root. You can query initial DOM after an end. Is render root a lit thing? And is that the access we need to it? So should we say this dot render root? Render root. Please let that work. Nope. Sure doesn't like that. Cannot set properties of undefined on line 13. Yeah, it does not. Render root is not what we want there, sadly. I thought that might be the way in. Using decorators, we don't really have access to because we're not using TypeScript. A lot of decorator stuff in there. Rendering children with slots, that did work just fine. So props to lit for that, not messing with my slot stuff or doing anything proprietary or weird. And certainly name slots is interesting. Accessing slotted children, sure. We learned all about slots yesterday, or at least the basics. Customizing the render root. Setting shadow root options. Interesting. The simplest way to customize the render root is to set the shadow root options static property. The default implementation of create render root passes shadow root options as the option. Yeah, okay. It's not really an option. See attach shadow for more. That's what we were using or are using. We're saying attach shadow. And it's saying, oh, you want to learn about attach shadow? Just go look at the default browser implementation of it. Fine. But like, is that what we need then? Maybe we could try it. Shadow root options. Okay. And then instead of delegates focus true, which is probably interesting in its own right, we would pass in adopted that. Merp. But this is a function. It would be like that. And then get rid of this. Then you don't need to do this. No. It didn't bomb out though. Shadow root options. Did we read far enough? it's just not what it wanted. That's not a valid way to, I don't know, to do it. We want that to work, but it doesn't. Implementing create render root. That's the one that makes it light DOM. We've played with that before. I think that's a nice feature. It's a little obtuse in that it create render root doesn't scream, just use static light DOM to me, but maybe. So we didn't get what we wanted from that particular search. How do you access lit element render root after overriding create render root? No, we're not doing create render root. We want the shadow DOM. I know you never thought I'd hear me say that, would you? But that's what we're doing. How do we get access to this .shadow root? Like at this moment. Like what is this .shadow root? This .shadow root. I guess you have to do it after you attach the shadow. What are we looking at? It's a shadow root. It's just, that's what we'd expect to see. It's, you know, so by attaching this, that's why it doesn't error in the browser. It's like, fine, do that. But then like lit doesn't use it or something. Does it have like its own shadow DOM or what's going on here? You know, no, it doesn't. That's the shadow DOM, but does it like do it again later or something? There's some kind of order of operations that boots this. It doesn't do it. What are the other like life cycle methods and stuff? Do you still get connected callback and all that stuff in this life cycle? Yeah. Let's learn about the life cycle. First, there's a constructor. Then there's a connected callback. That's cool. Let's see if connected callback is like late enough in the thing where is this .shadow root the same? Yeah, or it appears to be. What if I rerun this? Yeah, it's just the shadow root, fine. So if we wait to attach, is that like late enough in the life cycle that it will be respected? Ooh, it really doesn't like that. It just bailed. It just bailed hard. Main, it just doesn't even have a shadow root. Oh, it does, but it's just a P in there, and even that got not rendered for who knows what reason. Okay, hates that. Good to know. Disconnected callback. Attribute changed callback. That's what we're interested in with the title that we proved worked, which was nice. Invoked when a component is moved to a new document. And the reactive thing we don't really care about. We just want to be like, I don't know, just let me touch the shadow DOM in a way that doesn't freak you out. All we want to do is this .shadow root.adopted style sheets equals. And we even know that the shadow root, like, it is what we think it is. Here it is. Refresh, shadow root. But I guess there's nothing in it at this point. Let's write connected callback here. And then when we log it, so that's, it appears to be empty and not empty here. Constructor, which is opposite to how I thought. I thought the constructor would run like once first. Oh, they're all empty. Or at least that's how DevTools is making it look. I thought at one point when we were logging shadow root that it was telling us what's in it. What's up, Blake? Good to see you. I think you can do it in the constructor, right? Oh, the constructor up here. Yeah, if you just popped in, I mean, that's what we were trying to do. Is like, there's our adopted style sheet. And then lit is like, no, it isn't. Ooh, it's freaking out. It just does not like that. It doesn't like me touching it. Look at, if we just choose not to do it, everything is just fine. Hunky dory. No, it isn't. Now what did we ruin? We don't need the connected callback. I'm worried we didn't ruin anything. Yeah, there it is, right? There's our component. Totally fine. I don't know why connected callback was losing it when we weren't doing anything there. And we know that this sheet is it. Oh, you are specifically not using the shadow root, Blake? Right. We want to use it, though. We don't have to, though. I guess that's interesting. We could just bail out of shadow root, but, I kind of don't want to. Because, I guess yesterday video we were looking at, look, this button, totally not classed, but it is scoped to this button. It's kind of neat to see that this button in our own little shadow rooty blaster here, we can write this really chill CSS that doesn't affect other buttons on the page. It's kind of a reason to use kind of a design system like this. And, I'm convincing myself to hate the shadow DOM less. But certainly we could bail from it. Let's attempt to bail from it at least. So bailing from it means light DOM, and light DOM in lit means, and it should still have all the cool reactive attributes and stuff, means create render root, right? Create render root. I feel like it's a very weird name, but there's not even any. Oh, I see. What? Whatever. That's it. It's like these 3 lines, and then you're in light DOM town. So I guess let's try it on the card. If we do that, it should look the same. Oh, it's just freaking out. Well, certainly don't do that. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've lost some stuff. Interestingly, now our slot's definitely not going to work because slots just don't work outside of the shadow DOM. Kind of a bummer. So what's happening is this paragraph, the light DOM is rendering first, and then it's like, oh, you want this other stuff too. I'll render those things too. So it's what we'd have to do is pluck out the H1 and put it in the light DOM, pluck out the button, put it in the light DOM. I kind of don't want to, I kind of want to hang out in Shadow DOM land for this. So this would be, I can leave it in there, be like, this is what we do if we wanted to go to light DOM town. But we don't, so we want to do this. This will fail because this .shadow root is meaningless until we attach it ourselves. Still kind of funny though, because lit by default does make things shadow DOM. We don't have to ask for shadow DOM. You have to turn it off if you want. But in the constructor, it's too early in the life cycle or whatever. So maybe if we did connected callback, like we didn't do this, but we did this later. In my mind, connected callback is way later than the constructor. Connected callback doesn't run until HTML finds one of these things, and it runs it once per time it finds it. So if we clear this and run it again, what do we got? Yeah, it's fine. No error, but freaking no style sheet either. We'll know that the style sheet is there when we have a border around it and some padding. So I think what's most likely here, almost surely, is that lit there. I don't think anybody even works on lit anymore. I don't think it was like a Google project. I think the employees of it were gutted. I think CSS module scripts are pretty new, and they just didn't care to make those things work together. It just wasn't a prerogative at the time. I think. And I was assuming that we could make it work because lit doesn't do that much. You'd think we'd still have access to this .shadow root, and indeed we do, but somehow something makes adopted style sheets just fart out and not work. That is super disappointing. Because we're so close to having these niceties. But I think for practicality here, I don't want to leave this demo all jacked up. We're just going to have to abort on lit. So if we're aborting on lit, we're going to do this in reverse order then. HTML element instead. We ain't having no static properties. We're going to have to do our own shadow DOM. We're going to This will start to work now. I don't care about this comment anymore. We don't need a connected callback. There is no such thing as a render function. We're going to have to instead, what do we do in our button? We just do it right in the constructor. We say this dot shadow root dot what? Inner HTML. Inner HTML equals, and then we're just back in template literal town, not a fancy one, but a basic one. And then we are going to need a connected callback because we're going to pluck off the title all by ourselves. So we'll say const title text equals this dot shadow root dot query query selector for what? For this DS card of ID card? No, we don't want to do that. We're going to get rid of that. That was just a fun little goof anyway. We need this. Or no, we need the parent of it. So it's just this dot get attribute title dot inner text, I guess. No, just get attribute title, not inner. It's not an element. What am I thinking of? But we do need to get this card. So I don't know. This dot shadow root, which is the pink stuff above, dot query selector card title. That's inner text equals title text. Yeah? Why are you still pissed? It doesn't know it at line 22. You don't know what this is? Really? You don't know what this is? Oh, that's surprising. How did I do it before? We had this working like a few minutes ago. No more lit. Goodbye, lit. Disappointed me for the day. Maybe I'm just confused. If we clear this. Why doesn't it know what this dot shadow, or is it a different this? So if we comment this out, it's fine because we're not doing anything, right? Yeah. Oh, and it's already says hiking trails at the top. How is that working? We don't need to do that? This dot title is enough to work here? We don't need to do any of that crap we were doing before? Wow, okay, so our foray into lit was actually pretty useful. So just dot title, just because this is title, is like enough. It just hangs it off of this. I sort of don't hate that. That's pretty cool. Okay. And look, our freaking border is back and our padding is back because adopted style sheets do work, just not in freaking lit. So lit is dead to me. Long live CSS module scripts. All right, what's our README then? We add some props. We did it. We added a title prop. I think that's fine. We need the design to not look stupid. So let's do that next. Ooh, I wish I was in. Is my Canary? If I open Canary from the command line with a flag, that Canary has a split tab feature now. That is awesome. But it's not awesome right now because I forgot to open it from the command line to do that. And I don't feel like that particular side journey. Or do I? The only reason I do is because I'm sharing one screen on freaking this streaming app I'm using, and the alternative is to put two windows next to each other, and I don't know how that's going to work on the little streaming app I have. So maybe it's worth it. I'll share with you my secret glory. We'll try to figure it out together, because I don't do it every single day, because I wish it would just open like this on default, but it doesn't. So if I share how do you search your history in Bash? That's how, I don't think you knew how silly of a person I am that I don't know this stuff. And where did I write it down last time? Split tabs. I put it in a blue sky, I think, because it was my weird way of remembering it. and I'm talking about the flag name specifically to open Chrome with the split tabs feature that they have. I don't even think it's in beta. It's like secret somehow. I'm sure it's not secret. I'm sure if you actually follow Chrome development, you'd know. I know I'm not sharing this. I'm scrolling through to find what the feature flag is specifically. I'm going to find it. It's going to be amazing. All right. There it is. So the feature flag is that. But that's not going to do anything because we need to open Canary with it, which means I need to quit Canary now. Fine. And then how do you search your little ZSH history or something? Is it /R? Oh, there it is. Canary. Oh, there it is. How did I pull that out of nowhere? Run that feature. Sweet. Now if I reshare Canary, that, now I can say, add tab to new split view. Boom. Split tabs in Chrome. Where's all the loud clapping? That is useful, I think. And we can go real small over there. 2 websites in one. Look at their UI for it. What do you think? It kind of smashes the tab together. Don't hate it. I want the look to be like this look, which is the point of that. So the card is, that's why I wanted a split tab so we could just steal it. So I called it a module before. Should I just steal it wholesale? Sure. Copy. And it's just a card instead. It's a lot of work for not that much. But we didn't copy the structure apparently because it's not going great. We need a header in our card. That's how this one works. So the H1 will be in a header. The H1 will be in a header and not the slot though. I guess that was on our list, right? Is to deal with, and then what's the rest of it? The slot is in a section. I don't think we can Command-Shift-A here, which is my emit for wrapping. It doesn't work in JavaScript. Section. Right? And then what's the background of the whole page? No, body. What's the background of the whole page is, we'll steal those things, and that can go in the global stuff. I don't know that we need to do this. Okay, how'd we lose the spacing? Is it because it's counting on an SVG being there every time? I think that's like okay for now because I do want to deal with that too. That's what we said we were going to do. What we said we were going to do is how do we deal with the SVG and how do we deal with like prop kind of thing. So if I always like to start from the usage first. If we're calling DS card and we know the title is hiking trails, but we also want this icon there, would we do this? Icon equals, and then what would we put there? Or would we be expected to put what we're putting there in the title attribute? No, because it's like SVG. What are you going to drop inline SVG in an attribute? I do not think so. That would be silly. We could have a named thing. So if we want hike and then we just like look and see if the string matches hike, then we put the SVG of the hiker there. That could be the thing. We could put a URL maybe. I don't think we can reliably pluck off. Maybe we can because we're in JavaScript and maybe it'll be okay. Could we put like hiker.svg there? Then we'll get this hiker somehow as a file. Let's grab this whole SVG chunk, copy it. We'll put a folder called images, and we'll put a new file in there called hiker.svg, paste that in. So now we have hiker.svg. Then in our card, it's almost like we want conditional logic, but let's assume that all DS cards will have an icon. We'll have an IMG tag, I guess, IMG, and the source is basically / images / this .icon. Is that just going to work? It might. Why wouldn't it work? What's the source of that? Images / undefined. Why is it undefined? This .title is defined. Why is icon not defined? It's done the same way. I don't understand really. Why is this .icon not working? We don't do anything special for title. Literally nothing, and there it is. Is icon some reserved word or something? Here we are, connected callback. Console.log. I want to see what this .icon is. It's probably undefined. It is. So console.log this .get attribute icon. Is that what we hope it is? Hiker.svg? Yeah. Why does this .title work and the icon doesn't? Just absolutely inscrutable to me. We'll just put that here instead. It's probably going to work. No? Why? Why? I thought that would for sure work. It's not going to say undefined, is it? /images /hiker.svg. Right here. That's the right source. Oh, you know what I bet it is? It doesn't have the XML. I have to go to noun project quick, steal an SVG. I'll just upload it here so y'all can see it. I'll drop load it into images. There's an attribute on SVGs that makes it work with IMGs. Gimme it. Gimme. Did I open it too quickly? It's that freaking thing. I don't even need this arrow, so I guess I'll just delete it. Goodbye. I just needed your attribute. I don't need this title either. I don't know why that's there. So there it is. Cool. So that's how we could do it. That's a weird API. There's a lot of assumptions baked into it, but whatever. Then the CSS for the card, a lot of nesting here. Not sure I love that. This would become IMG instead of SVG, right? But we could go smaller. Not sure why 65 worked so well, but now it's whatever. It's kind of matching what we were going for. Where's it? Oh, where did split tab go? Did I close it? Open previous. Open split with current tab. Whoa, what happened there? Why is Super Hiker Dude there? Was he just behind the whole time? Did I paste something weird? Oh, I did. Ruining old pens. Why does that look nicer? Why is there more space there? I don't know. Padding. Oh, it's because images work differently with padding. I'm not sure I want to mess with this. We don't need we don't need this. We don't need that. We just rock some gap. And then the header should have its own padding probably. Yeah, probably should match the padding of the card itself, which has none. Oh yeah, the section yeah, okay. Good enough. Good enough for now. I don't think we accomplished a great looking thing. Now, oh, cripes. What is it sharing now? I closed everything. Don't want to do that. I want to do that. Oh, it's the wrong tab now. I just closed things awkwardly. Apologies. We're going to do something else. Get this back in order. Is this thing freaking out now? It got abruptly closed. Why do you think something has changed? Nothing has changed. Save. Oh gosh. Close this. Close all you files. I'm nervous that I screwed something up. It's not loading the files properly. Just get back to a normal state here. Save. Maybe I'll hard refresh. Oh, and this file is still here. It got really saved in a weird state. Now it's refusing to load these files. Is that a bug? Not my favorite bug. This looks like a real-time error. Yeah, it looks like a collab issue. It thinks I'm collaborating with myself, I think is the issue. And that myself is offline. Let's log out and in. And if we go to our create pages in our last touched thing, it still thinks I'm collaborating with myself. Can I fork it? Fun. Oh, there we go. Okay, good enough. We're really at it confused. I've logged all that. No worries, folks. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. All right, where were we? We added a prop to the card, which has a title and an icon. That's good. And we're still using our button, which is neither of these are using lit. We bailed on that because of its poor support or none support for CSS module scripts. We almost made the design not look stupid, but I actually want to officially do that at some point. SVG usage we kind of hit, so we're just going to pass in an SVG as a prop. The props is kind of weakly handled, but it's okay. And then the browser support, maybe let's leave off with that. The browser support that I'm concerned about is the CSS module script support here. So how do we detect support for that? Detect support for CSS module scripts. I bet they don't even touch on it in here. Browser scripts are available for quite a while. Version 93, aren't we like on 193 or something? 140. That's been a hot many versions ago. What's a version every 2-3 months? It's been a while, years. Is this have a date on the article? 2021. So 4 years or so. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this needs to be updated, you're saying, Mr. Scientist. Yeah, it does. I would love to open a pull request on this page, but we're doing it correctly here. But I still want to test for browser support. How do you do it? Would you just check and see what you have after the import? And if it's wrong, then do something different? Yes. Oh. Failed to load, but it would still be a, I would like to address this. Should work with lit and adopted style sheets. You should look at this video and rewind. It does not work with lit and adopted style sheets. We tried 6 ways to Sunday to get that to work and it doesn't. Okay, you could do that. That's interesting. And that way, if you await it, I don't know if the awaiting even matters. The problem is, does it throw? Like, I guess we should just look. Like, what happens in Firefox, which definitely does not support this? I will reshare Firefox when I get this open in it, hopefully. Copy. See this? I have a Command-Shift-C thing now in Chrome because I am an Arc lover. Okay. I'm going to share Firefox. Obviously not working right, but we kind of expected that. I guess I didn't expect for it to not have, I expected it to not have styling, but that's proving that it must be throwing, right? Because it's bailing before it does any of the work, which we really don't want it to do. Is there a way we can like do a try catch on an import? What is it going to say? Invalid module type. Right, because Firefox probably does support the with syntax with type equals JSON. So it's saying, oh, I don't understand that particular type I understand the JSON type, but not the CSS type. So how do you like do a browser support test for that? Does it have to be, that's why I mean the await thing might work. Like if we're looking at this, I have to move this over to Firefox for you to see it, I guess. Yeah, we're going to have to try catch it, but how do you try catch it? Can you try catch it like that if it's dynamic? Yeah. So we're going to have to do this. Let's just try and do that first, and we'll do it in Chrome so we can see. So if we do that, now we're back to Chrome. Now we do this. That's what the dynamic import looks like. So this is just sheet. It's really not that different, I guess. And we just get rid of it. Is that just gonna, like, now I really am collaborating with myself. That isn't working. Failed to fetch dynamically. Why? Oh, because this is not the file. It's card.css. Now you're gonna fetch it? No? Isn't that what a dynamic import looks like? What's wrong with that syntax? It's a top level await, but isn't that fine now? Isn't that a like thing you can do? I don't even know about programming. Default? I don't know what you mean by .default. It just doesn't like that line. Wrap the await. Dynamic imports ESM. I'm looking at the docs. Oh, it's wrapped. The import is wrapped. I see. No, we're wrapping it. And then you just mean just .default here? Maybe. Now sheet is not what we expect it to be. Oh, here. I see. But this was failing, so it's not here. It's here. Oh my gosh. So you mean do that, and then that? Is that happy? Failed to fetch dynamically. So now it's just wrapped. I want to know what sheet is at all times. Holy sheet. No. If it's not wrapped, what is sheet? Nothing. It just fails. But that is important to do. Like, we definitely have to put default here when we do a dynamic import like that. But I don't know about the whole wrapping business. Note that it is CSS module.default, not CSS module itself, that is added to because the object returned from a dynamic import is a module namespace object. Yeah, fine. We're not using assert. Oh, we are, because we copied the syntax, and the syntax is wrong. Ugh. Okay, that just immediately worked again, didn't it? Yeah, it did. It just immediately worked again. That's nice. Okay, thank you. We got there. Holy crap, that with thing is freaking... How many times has that annoyed us on this stream? Very many times. Okay. Cool. Got there. That's why we do streaming, because it's amazing. Now we can wrap the thing in a try catch probably, right? Like, can we rock a try around that whole sucker? Close it and catch. Yeah. Console.log. You done got caught. So it won't run that here. Sheet is not defined. What do you mean sheet's not defined? Oh, frick. Do we have to like let sheet or something and then do that? Oh my God. Okay. That's not my favorite, but we're getting there. And now if we go back to Firefox, I will reshare Firefox somehow. Firefox. I go to Firefox and open this thing. The catch should catch. So if we open the console, it's not caught. It didn't catch shit. Why? Console. It did, but it doesn't catch. Oh, give me a break. Really? It's like, sure, it's like it has an error, but it doesn't throw. Why? I guess it's good. I guess it means we don't have to try catch. We can just test what sheet is. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you'd think it would catch. Whatever. I hate everything now. I'm a hater now. All right, so now we can just console.log what sheet is. This should be collabing with me. You see how it's updating Chrome? Oh, you can't see both at the same time. But as I'm collaborating with myself, you see my two icons here? It's keeping both browsers up to date, which I guess is kind of nice. So it's throwing that, and then we say, what is sheet? Well, it doesn't even get there. So it does throw. Oh, this is crazy to me. So this line of code doesn't even execute because clearly it throws and it stops executing any JavaScript whatsoever. So we have no opportunity to catch it. That's insanity to me. Maybe we didn't read far enough in the blog post. Import year is not yet allowed. CSS import rules don't work with constructible style sheets. Well, yeah. This has got the assert syntax, whatever. Support for it may be added to the specification. See the GitHub issue. I mean, we're really like grasping at straws to find this, but should we look for the word support? I don't even know. I'm not sharing the right window of me looking for support, but whatever. I'm in the... Why is that enormous? What? Don't do that, maybe? Oh my gosh. Let's minimize that. Why is that super tiny? Maybe that is freaking me out. Zoom? It's just zoomed so far. Why would it be that zoomed in? What if I close this? Refresh. It's just freakishly zoomed in on the stream, is it not? Oh, there it goes. All right, it just needed a minute to unfreak out, apparently. Yeah, I was trying to look at like browser support for it, but I don't see much. Maybe we need to. Let's make sure we don't lose any of this. Let's ask Gemini. How do you test browser support for what did it oh, it just collapsed it? Why did it collapse it? Why bother? Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you think, Gemini. But it's not going to even get to this line of code in Firefox. But I am also very stupid. So let's check. So I'm going to reshare Firefox. This is quite the goose chase, though. And maybe I'll make a new pen to test it, or maybe not. Maybe I will. CodePen.io. Let's just use a classic pen real quick and just paste this in the top and just see what comes out of the console. My guess is it's just going to say it's an invalid module type. It is. It just says invalid module type. So obviously AI has no idea what it's talking about. It's in a try catch and it's absolutely not going to console.warn. I don't even know what all this crap is. Browser, oh, it does. Wait, the browser does not fully support CSS module scripts with the with syntax. That's our own code, isn't it? Browser does not. It is catching then. It is catching. What did we do wrong then? I'm just going to copy this function wholesale, right? I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to go back to our other pen, not that one. Demo for, aren't I sharing Firefox? Oh, I am. Okay, so maybe we'll make like a util folder, utils, and I'll say new file browser support.js. And I'll just paste our cool new function in there that we stole from Gemini, which is actually kind of impressive. Copy, paste. I don't think we need the comments. It's pretty clear what it's doing. And then we'll export default. Or no, it doesn't need to be default. We'll just export that function name, and we don't need to call it in here. This is just our util. Cool. So now we'll go into our, maybe we'll do it here at like the global level. We'll import this thing from /utils/browser support.js. Then we call it invalid module type. But we expect to see that, but we needed to like return, we need to like return properly, right? So we're going to say this is if it actually worked. So it's just going to return true. Do you have to, I don't know. Like what if it gets here in the code? Is that false or true? I think it's false. Because if that's undefined or whatever, and then definitely in the catch we return false. Fair enough. So this is now like supported equals or const supported is that. And then if not supported, I don't know, just alert. Nope. For a second. Will that run? No alert. It's the same problem we were having before. Like it doesn't seem to get past invalid. It gets to this line, and then it doesn't allow the catch to run. But it certainly did when we ran it elsewhere. Now I'm confusing myself. Yeah. What do we do? We just got to step-by-step it, right? At the very top of this function, we could say console.log sanity check. Is our sanity exist? No. What is that even doing? Can we just say all somehow? Info's on, debug's on, sure. It does not even get here. Nice. So that would explain it. Is this import wrong? Console.log hello. Do we even get there? No. What if we move it up here? Does it run and then fail on this import? Oh, it just never even runs. Is that possible? Is it possible for a console.log from a script from an HTML file to just not even execute a hello? Why can't I see console.log hello there? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. It makes me think that Firefox DevTools is just wrong. I'll switch to Chrome. And we'll open its dev tools. It's certainly going to say hello, right? Are we seeing the hello there? Yeah, if I hit save. Oh, it does not provide an export name default. Oh, that's the problem. Yeah, that should be more obvious, I guess. When there's no default, you have to put the thing in freaking curly brackets with the SM, right? Yes. Oh, look at it logging crazy stuff. Sanity check and all that, right? Okay, so are you cool now? Save. Are you going to say hello to me properly? Nope, it's just going to say invalid freaking module type. Import failed 3 times. That must be some extension, though. Yeah, it refuses to even say hi. That line doesn't even run because does it look at this? And I just don't even understand what's happening. I really don't. This is the worst stream ever because I apparently don't even understand basic JavaScript. Like if I comment that out and this out, will it get to hello? What is an invalid module type now? Is there some crap left in the card component that's trying to do this? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's there. So if that's gone, will you say hello? No. Like what's even an invalid module type at this point? Like what code are you trying to execute that you think has an invalid module type? I guess it's the button, right? And then this line should fail now. Now sheet is not defined. That makes sense. What if we say hello in here? This hello. I don't think console.log statements work in Chrome DevTools. We have all of them turned on, and the console.log statements don't come to DevTools. It's just my own muscle memory, surely, but it's like every time I use a browser I'm less familiar with, I'm like, why God is it like this? Why would it not show me a console.log? There must be a filter. There must be something going on here that it just console.log is not a supported concept. So we don't need that. We do want this. We're trying to bail out early. We're trying to, for Firefox, for your benefit, for the benefit of this demo, just to show people, is just to say, oh, hey, we're trying to show off CSS module scripts in a thing. Like this browser doesn't support it. Really sorry about that. We're just trying to make a responsible demo, which this would probably be like inject. I don't want to actually call alert, but clearly it doesn't work. But what seems silly is that, again, what browser am I sharing here? This does actually work if we just go to like CodePen, and we just run it. I mean, I guess we're in the wrong browser, though. I'm going to move this demo to Firefox. Is there something about... We did this once. It's just yet another sanity check. It says browser does not fully support CSS module scripts. Browser does not fully support CSS module scripts. It doesn't, in this very simple demo, it works fine. It works fine. We could go alert nope, and it would alert nope, I'm almost sure. Alert nope. But there's something about this, or this other world that we're trying to do it in, that it doesn't. But we were in Chrome, though, right? So it should just go through in Chrome. If I switch to Chrome, no wonder it's not doing anything here, because in a way, it doesn't matter. But something is broken here, too. The requested module does not provide an export named. Oh, it's saying sheet is undefined. Did we mess with it, though? Yeah, we just messed with it. This should pop back to life now. Yeah, it absolutely did. Great. So it's scooting right past this supported test here in Chrome, which is exactly what we would expect it to do. Although, what's that? Does that happen every time? Browser does not fully support it. Why would it say that? because it does fully support it. Sanity check can go away. It's catching and it's saying browser does not support it. Oh, because of this. Oh, God damn it. It's because it's looking for an import that obviously isn't there. We'll just say style.css. Now it's going to actually find the freaking thing. That was the problem the whole time, wasn't it? It's because it was looking for a file that isn't actually there. Now it's saying, yeah, of course I support it. So I guess we could leave the warnings. We are closer now. We're so close, I can feel it. I'm going to go back to sharing Firefox now and come back to our pen. Console, invalid module type, which we're expecting to see, and we know the console.log doesn't work in Firefox for cool reasons. What we'd expect to happen is that this function, which we import from browser support, would catch here, as we know this works, and return false. Then in the script, supported becomes false, and if it is false, it will alert nope. But instead, it like immediately hits. It immediately just throws invalid module type and it doesn't work. So somewhere it kind of throws that we're unexpecting it to. So maybe it just doesn't like that it's happening in this async function or something. Maybe it doesn't need to be async. That's kind of true, isn't it? Await is a reserved thing. So it needs to be async because we're awaiting here. And it's not top level anymore. We're in a function. So top level await doesn't work. That makes sense, kind of. So do we need to await it when we call it? Is that the problem? Probably. We need to await it now. I thought we were onto something there. Thought we were onto something. Do we even get here? We can't even test because console.log isn't a feature of Firefox. I don't know. Might just have to call it. I'm going to have to call in the big boys on this one. It doesn't really matter. I was just trying to be nice to Firefox users. And I'll just put this in here, like CSS module scripts don't work in this browser. This demo is largely a demonstration of them. Okay, even though that doesn't work, and that's probably our fault. Is it maybe because of the order of imports? We should do all our importing first. No, we can't do all our importing first because it will hit this. I bet that is the problem. I bet that's exactly the problem, is that I was thinking that order of operations kind of like mattered here, but like we have an import statement up here and then two import statements down here. And what's really happening is like this one's running, then it's going to continue doing the imports it needs to do and then run this code or and by the time it's doing this import, it's trying to import without any kind of browser test and fail and then not move on to executing more code. So like this is the more appropriate way to think about it, but it's dying here. That's almost surely what's happening. So it's sort of like we don't do it. We just do it in the first one. I don't know if I want to await them up here. I think we should just take our code here and put it in the first one that we import. Like we do our test here, and then it won't move on to the other ones. We just save it and we just put it here. No, because now that line, it's going to basically throw right there and never get here. So we really need to not do that. We need to go back here and do it. know that they're going to be hosted. Hi, Bali. Correct. That's the correct word, right? These are going to be hoisted. Let's not pretend like they're not going to get hoisted. But then await these. Like, then we can put them down here. So how do we do an await? Like, just like we do in here, right? We do a await import. Yeah. Like, if we do that, is it cool now? Like, instead of putting it up here, we just simply put it down here. And does that like prevent them from being hoisted? I don't know. Or do they still get hoisted? I don't know. Can we put like an iffy around them then? How do you make an iffy again? Like an async one though. I don't care that it's in Node. How do you not know what I mean? There you go. Let me grab it from chat. That's better, isn't it? It was in Firefox though. Here's Firefox. Did I just totally leave the pen? Like, what? Did I just closed it? That's nice. I didn't even notice doing that. Okay, so this is like async. Murmur. So the actual code is in there, and then we import them. That will surely prevent them from being hoisted, right? No. Index.js. We don't even have an index.js. The requested module does not provide an export named test CSS mode. Really? It does though. It's named that. So when I import that, that's the name of it. It happens to be async, so I await it. Let me just clear this out and re-execute. Oh, that's nice though. This is further than we've gotten so far. It says the browser does not fully support CSS module scripts. That's further than we've got so far. So we're here. Does not fully. So it should return false, meaning freaking supported should be false. And if not supported, it should run an alert. But we don't see the alert. Why don't we see the alert? Script error at /preview/ See, that's surprising. We don't even have an index.js file that I know of. What's happening in this iframe that thinks that it does? Index. It's the CodePen helper script. Did somebody ship something funky with it? That's strange. That should not be happening. I just need to log that as a bug, but that shouldn't be interfering with what's going on here because it's a totally different script. So we do know that like it is executing here. I wish Firefox supported the amazingly complicated and futuristic feature of console.log so we could tell. It makes me want to try it again. Console.log. Hello. Watch Firefox not output anything. Oh, it does now. What was happening before then? All right, fine. It gets there, which means what do you have for supported? Do you have a true or false? You have a false. So this should run. The alert should run. Maybe that's why CodePen is interfering with alert or something. I didn't think we would, but if I say that console.log doesn't work in this browser, this is largely a demonstration of them. Cool. So just the alert wasn't going for some reason, which is kind of fine. Instead of this, we could just say like document.inner HTML equals H1 and then whatever I typed before. CSS module scripts don't work. in this browser /h1. Right? No? Why doesn't that work? Console.log. Not supported. Oh yeah. Document element. Body. Thank you. Okay. We're finally being nice to Firefox. So if someone were to see this demo in Firefox, they would get this message that says, sorry, this is a freaking demo. Oh my gosh, what happened? This is just a demo of CSS module scripts, and we're trying to be nice to you by telling you what's going on. I never thought we would get there, chat, but we freaking got there somehow. Fantastic. Goodbye, Firefox. We didn't code anything Firefox specific. We didn't. And it's still working fine in Chrome. So let's look at our README, or today's README says, we added a browser support warning. We kind of dealt with SVG by just linking to a URL of SVG. The design looks less stupid, but I'm not going to cut it off for now. And we added props to a component, even though we wanted to use lit.html for it. Lit.html absolutely does not support CSS module script usage. So that's what we did today. It'd be nice to actually finish this up. I don't even know if we'll stream it. I don't think it's that interesting, really. I just wanted to have like an official demo for myself and possibly a blog post, who knows, later that says, here's an example of using CSS module scripts. It affords this nice application structure with no build process at all, which is nice. So I'm going to leave it at that. That was like almost like tiringly difficult to get there. And I absolutely could not have done it without the help of chat. So thank you very much. And we'll see you again tomorrow.